move forward.
Yes.
In partnership, working with the city managers. It's a new year, so I'll withdraw my
Thank you.
request for.
And Mr. Manager, this council wants to see you be successful, because if you're successful, the city's going to move forward in a positive way. And I think that's all they're looking for. Just, if there's information, pertinent information, I don't mean calling us about a pothole or a stop sign, but it's something that's of the utmost importance pertaining to contracts and things of that nature. I think an email or a phone call, I think would do the job. All in favor of the motion presented by Council Rita Mercer, signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. The next motion, Council Kazanjian, and this motion is also co-signed on by Council Mercer, Council Elliott, Council Lindsay, and Mayor Caulfield. I request the city manager to continue discussions with UMass Lowell officials and state officials. Second the motion by Council Rita Mercer.
Thank you, Mayor. Well, it's basically what it says, that we want to continue the negotiations with the state delegation and also the representatives of the university. I think it's an important partnership with the university, and we're losing $1 million a year, plus we just found out we're losing an extra $125,000 with the Devils, so I hadn't put that on top of the $1 million where, you know, with the economic times, I just think it's very, very important that we try to reach out to the university and the senator and the state delegation and make this thing happen, and take this off our books, and we have an individual that's willing to go forward and purchase this land and arena from the city. I think it's very important.
Any other discussion? Council Broderick.
Thank you. I'll support the motion. Obviously, I think we took a vote on this last time it came up, but if it seems to be a sense that maybe there's a reluctance to move forward or it's not moving forward, it might. I'm wondering, you know, out loud, if it makes sense to maybe get a report back or go into executive session in 2 weeks or whatever, if there's something brewing. I agree with Council Lindsay and dealing with the arena and the ballpark as well, that we hurt ourselves more every time we discuss this issue in public. We're airing our weaknesses and our dirty laundry, so to speak, and that concerns me, that in our efforts to help the citizens, we're actually hurting them. You know, if we were selling our vehicle, we wouldn't be talking about how the brakes don't work and, you know, the engine knocks. Would be keeping our mouth shut and trying to get the most we can for it. And I think that, you know, if we're looking for a status report, I think we ought to. This would be something that I would prefer to get in executive session, as Council Lindsay mentioned. I think it's important that we do these things in private. Well, but I support the motion. I think, you know, we have to keep moving forward, and I was hoping that we were. So that's why I suggest maybe we have some type of update to make sure that it's if it can be moved forward, that it is. Thank you.
Council Kazanjian.
Thank you, Mayor. I've spoken to the state senator, and the state senator wants to go forward with this, and he feels he can make it work. I mean, as far as a vehicle that's not working, they already know it's not working. We're not telling them anything different. They knew that from right out of the gate, that the university knew that the arena's not making any money. There's big problems over there with capital improvements. So we're not telling them in the public and hurting the taxpayers here. They knew that right from the get-go. So I think it's very, very important that we make this thing happen and get it off our books, like I said. Thank you.
Council Milonazo.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm going to support the motion. I think from the standpoint of trying to get back into discussions with UMass Lowell and with the state officials is important as we go forward trying to deal with the issue of the arena. But again, I just want to caution my colleagues. I've heard over the last 4 to 6 weeks on more than one occasion, 2, maybe even 3 of my colleagues state that they've spoken to the chancellor. Councilor Kazanjian just stated that he's spoken to the senator, which is his right. But I don't want to have this board of directors get in the way of the city manager negotiating something with the chancellor. The chancellor has his own board of directors, and I'd be happy to give this list of his board of directors to our city manager if he wants to reach out and call the board of directors of UMass, because it appears some of my colleagues have called and spoken to the chancellor. And again, it goes right back to Councilor Lindsay's point that we're compromising our position by talking, again, I guess what I'm trying to say, we all need to be on the same page as we're going forward. The only way we're going to be successful in trying to come up with a deal with the university, which ultimately I think we will, is if we let the city manager do his job. Again, this motion points him back in that direction by saying, try to get back to the table and discuss it with the chancellor and with the state delegation. But it's his job. It's really not our job going individually to the chancellor and/or to the state delegation. Again, I can socially have a chat with the senator and/or the state representative, but I can't be negotiating anything on behalf of the city.
Council Broderick and Council Kazanjian.
Thank you. I think Council Kazanjian made reference to my analogy. It may not have been the best one because you're right. Chancellor Meehan's done his research, he's got his reports, and he's done his due diligence, as we all know. But I guess what I was referring to, and not well, apparently, is the fact that if we're sitting here talking about how we want to give it away for $1 to save ourselves $1 million, you know, we're going to be lucky to get $1. That's, I'm talking about more about giving away our position in public than giving away what we think is right, wrong, or indifferent with the building itself. And that's what concerns me, is we're jeopardizing our position because we're giving it away. And then we're going to charge the manager with going and striking the best deal possible. And we just took away his ability to do that. And I think that we have to be, he has to communicate to us what's going on and get our input, because ultimately we're going to have to vote on it. But I think that we have to do that as a team, and we should be doing that in private, in executive session, so that we're on this side and we work with everybody, but we have to make sure that there's one point man on this, because otherwise we're diluting our strength here, any strength that we have. And that's my point. I mean, I understand that the chancellor knows that, you know, the sound, the video, and the, you know, the repairs that he's got a long laundry list of intended repairs. But I think that, you know, for us to be talking about how anxious we are to get rid of it is going to compromise our position in trying to actually work a deal.
Council Kazanjian, then we'll wrap.
I got one more thing.
Oh, go ahead.
Council,
Kazanjian.
this motion does not deal with negotiations as
Just
part of
direction.
council. This motion is telling the city manager, if it passes, that let's establish that as a priority to resume discussions, negotiations, however way you want to call it, with the chancellor, and take the offer that the senator may want to make available to assist. We're not, this motion doesn't talk about how you should negotiate. No. It just said, put that on your front burner as a priority if indeed the majority of the council feels that way. There's nothing wrong with that motion at all. How else would the manager know what our priorities are if we don't make a motion to say, look, no matter what took place in the past, no matter where the negotiations got stalled, no matter what happened, resume the negotiations if you can. And that's all this motion says.
It's just a direction.
Yeah, it's just a priority setting motion.
Council Kazanjian.
Bet it passes.
Thank you, Mayor. This is to contradict what Councilor Malinazzo was just stating, that we're not letting the manager do this job. We were letting him do the job. He was negotiating this with the state senator and the chancellor, and then an RFP came in front of us for this land, and it was going to ruin the deal that was going to happen with the chancellor and the university and the state senator. And that's why, one of the reasons why I'm bringing this up, because the university was not going to take this facility if the RFP was in effect. And that's what I'm getting at. And we've got a university as a big partner of this city, and they want to purchase a arena or a business that's losing money, and probably needs about $5 million in capital improvements. I mean, even if we gave it away and we save $1 million a year, in 10 years, we just saved $10 million for the city. I mean, what are we losing by making a deal with the university? That's basically what I'm getting at. That's all.
Mr. Manager?
Mr. Mayor, not to belabor the point, and I've sat back and just, you know, and I know it's been a long night and everyone is interested in wrapping up, but this has come up on a number of occasions. The deal did not break down because of the RFP. The deal broke down because the deal that we had struck, the chancellor advised me that we could no longer do that deal, and that we were going to have to try to rework things. And I hope that this is, apparently I haven't made this clear enough to everyone here, that I consulted the Chancellor. I told him that we were going out to the RFP to keep our options open for that so that we could at least keep an interested party that's interested in investing a substantial sum of money here in the city and interested in paying taxes here in the city, that I felt that that was something that was beneficial to the city. And since the university, the Chancellor had indicated that that was the type of development he might be interested in, I felt it was important that we at least keep that in play. I contacted the Chancellor. I mentioned this to the Chancellor. He had at that opportunity the chance to say, can you hold off? He didn't. The deal that we had didn't break down because of the RFP. The deal broke down because the deal that we had struck, suddenly he could no longer live up to his side of the bargain. Now, that doesn't mean the deal was dead. We could rework it, we could revisit it, we could do all sorts of things, but the RFP was just to keep that option open. And I am interested in exploring ways to cooperate with the, or be partner with the university. But I think we also have to remember that, Councilor, you just said that the university is interested in buying that arena. Well, one, they're not interested. Here's from the last proposal that was, or the last correspondence from the Chancellor. It wasn't a proposal. We thought it was, but then it wasn't. That the Chancellor is interested in buying it. He's not interested in buying it. He's interested in taking it. And that may be the best thing. Maybe, maybe not. Certainly voicing it the way we're doing now and taking positions that we should do that doesn't help my bargaining position in terms of getting something that's good for the community. And also, the Chancellor is not. If you believe his last correspondence, if you believe all of his public statements, he's made it very, very, very clear he is not interested in this arena at this point in time. And so to have it be said that he's interested and I'm not interested in making a deal is just wrong. I'm more than happy to sit down with the Chancellor. I'm more than happy to sit down with private parties that are interested in all of these pieces of property to see what we can do for the long-term best interest financially for the city of Lowell. And, you know, and again, I've already begun having communications with state officials regarding this matter. And you know, Councilor Lenzi said, you know, you mentioned a state official, a state representative, a member of the delegation. Well, you know, sometimes they don't want me out there talking, saying that I met with this one or that one. They'd prefer that it just be private communications between the manager and that particular individual, because they're telling me information they don't necessarily want me coming in on a Tuesday night and broadcasting that they said something. The communication with the Chancellor on the LaLasha Field was, you know, done by email because it was just a quick, you know, Marty, Happy New Year. Just wanted to let you know I'm with you on this LaLasha Field stuff. He was very appreciative. He even wished me a Happy New Year. You know, we have communications, we have discussions, and we have, you know, regularly talked about these things, and we'll continue to talk about these things, and I think we're going to continue to talk about the arena. And if this motion passes, certainly we will reach out again. But, you know, I'm not in the real estate business, but I know that if I go out and tell someone, you know, someone walks away and I beg them to come back, I'm thinking I'm probably not going to get the best deal out of it. So I agree with Councilor Lenzi. Some of this stuff is better that we look out for the city's interest and talk about these things in a setting we can have some frank discussion. But I really felt compelled to correct the record there, that this is not something that fell apart because of the RFP. It fell apart before that, and if the Chancellor had a problem with my going out with the RFP, I wish he had said it to me on the phone rather than have it continue to be portrayed that I pulled the rug out from under this when it wasn't what happened. We did.
Councilor Lindsay, then we're going to take a vote on this.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I think the motion is that we believe that you're a competent manager, and we're asking you to go back and work out a deal if a deal can be done. I think it's as simple as that. And just going back one more time to the legislator. I asked if our delegation, and it just, to me, and maybe I'm taking it the wrong way, it was an evasive answer when you said you talked to a legislator. Well, I'm talking about our delegation. Has our delegation been, are you working with our delegation? And the answer was a legislator. Well, it's not the,
I only speak to ours.
All in favor of the motion, Counsel Elliott?
Thank you, Mr. Manager. Mr. Mayor, thank you. Just briefly, my interest naturally is like everyone else's, and, you know, when I saw this letter from the Department of Revenue, knowing we had a $1.4 million fund balance deficit, and then it's reduced to 600 that we're starting the year with, that's not included what's going to take place this year, you know, it's just another reason I think that we need to try to, and I know it's giving it away, but I mean, it was $24 million that was really allocated by the legislature to the university. And it's a transfer, and I think it will relieve a burden. That's just my opinion. I guess I go back to the letter like you did, Mr. Manager. And I believe, you know, those were the terms from the university. Perhaps you can communicate to us what the deal breaker was, and, you know, is there some way for us to, you know, get back into discussions? Because the chancellor, I think his intent was, look, here are my terms from the letter. I communicate them to the president of the university, and, you know, where are we at? Where is the city at? And where can we find some common ground to really get it back into some cooperation with, and maybe there is cooperation. I don't want to imply anything less, but there's, you know, so many other things that the university and the city can and should be cooperating on, and having this partnership. So maybe that's a good starting point. You know, where is the city with our terms, whatever those terms are? I know you responded to his letter, but perhaps a communication. I know we're not going to discuss this in public, but either, you know, in executive session, you know, where is it? Let us know, Mr. Manager. You know, this is where we're at, this is what I offered, and this is where it broke down. So, you know, and I don't like to go in an executive session any more than anyone else because it's all public knowledge, but at least we'll all know.
Counselor, I think you just referenced it. The Chancellor sent a letter to President Wilson and copied the city councilors. He was good enough to fax me a copy later that day, and I responded to the city council with an analysis of his proposal. This was when I, like you, read it and thought it was another proposal until he informed me that it wasn't. But I gave you a full analysis of where the differences were in the terms of the proposal. I'd be happy to give you another copy of that if that would be helpful. It gets to all of those points.
So do we have a deal? Did we have a set of conditions that?
We had a deal.
Okay, so we had a deal.
Yes.
So
it hadn't been put into absolute written form. We were working on that when he advised me that they couldn't live up to the financial aspects of that.
Okay, so we're discussing it in public. Were there further discussions after that, and can we go back to those discussions?
There were.
All right, well, I think the motion covers it, so I won't belabor that point.
All in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye. Any opposed? The motion carries. I just want to caution the council, it's 5 minutes to 11. We go to 11, we have to initiate Rule 5 to extend the meeting beyond 11. So, and I think Councilor Kazanjian has a very important motion. So,
I'll make it quick on the 5 minutes.
Oh,
okay.
well, motion to extend if necessary.
Okay.
Motion to extend the meeting past 11 by Councilor Elliott, second by Councilor Kazanjian.
I want a roll call on that.
Roll call.
Councilor Kazanjian,
Yes.
Councilor Lenzi,
Yes.
Councilor Martin,
No.
Councilor Armin Mercia,
No.
Councilor Rita Mercia,
Yes.
Councilor Milonazo,
Yes.
Councilor Broderick,
Yes?
Mayor Caulfield.
Yes.
Councilor Elliott,
Yes.
7 yeas.
This is a very important motion that Councilor Kazanjian brought forward. And
Mr. Mayor,
Doesn't two noes kill it?
two noes.
What's that?
Two
Two noes
noes.
defeats it?
What's
No.
that?
I don't know, is this,
The motion to go beyond the
Motion to go beyond, it wasn't a suspension of the rules.
Yeah, you're suspending the rules.
but does 2 no votes kill
Well,
this
you know, right
move?
now, if we kept going, we
Does
wouldn't
the
need to
motion
go
speak
beyond
for
it.
itself?
Let's go forward with it.
Motion by Council Costanza. City Council requests the city manager to report on the city's position on the class action lawsuit relative to the use of MTB in fuel. Seconded by Councilor Broderick. On the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It was brought to my attention that some cities and towns in the Merrimack Valley, one was Lawrence, was awarded $422,000, and Methuen, $400,000 in this class action suit. MTBE is a treatment that was added to gasoline at various levels between 1979 and 2007 and aimed to help the gasoline burn cleaner and reduce air pollution. And what happened, you had some underground tanks, and the underground tanks leaked, and there's a class action suit with probably 8 or 10 major petroleum companies, BP, Amoco, Chevron, Shell, Valero, Citgo, Sunoco, and Hess. And there's 17 states that are involved in this class action suit. And I just wonder if we've got any money, or are we in the process of getting any money?
We'll get you a report. We were part of that class action suit. We picked up about, after legal fees, it was a class action suit, so there was an attorney that was handling it for all of them, that he had an arrangement with all of them. The city of Lowell was, received about $420,000. We're hopeful that, I believe it's Exxon has not yet settled, that we may...
Right, Exxon is not settling this, no.
We may pick up more along the way. The Department of Revenue, sometime after the suit, did advise each of the communities on how that should be handled. In our particular case, and we were planning on bringing this in actually later in January, that money is a legal settlement, and it's fortunate we received it because this is also a year that we have been a party to a number of legal settlements that have cost us money. So it's going to end up being a wash, but it is going to require a city council vote to take that money that we received to offset some of the other legal settlements that we've been involved with as a city on a number of different matters. It's very beneficial to us because without that money, we would be in a position where those legal settlements would have to have been carried over into the next fiscal year, which, as we know, is all going to be a very difficult financial year as it is. So that we did have we're working on a motion now to bring into the city council at the next meeting, which will also have that report for you.
Have we received the money already?
I believe we did get the check.
Recently, or just...
Back in late November or early December.
Okay, all right.
Yep.
Thank you.
But we were a party of it, and we were working on how we were going to allocate that so that, again, we would avoid a deficit in that account, which would have set us up poorly for next fiscal year.
Okay, thank you.
All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Any opposed? The motion carries. Before we adjourn, I shall have 2 minutes. I just want to let it be known that Saturday, January 17th, at the Saugus Arena, Laura Smith, as always, very generous host, to be the celebration of the life of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. from 12 to 2 p.m. So I'd like to see everyone there, and Laura Smith's just a great person. And the manager and I and Tom Golan, Deb Belanger, we were at the Saugus Arena Saturday, and the Colonial Classic synchronized skating competition was absolutely phenomenal. Over 1,400 rooms were booked in the Greater Lowell area, brought in a lot of money to the economy, and Deb Belanger and the Tom Golan and the Convention and Business Bureau deserve a lot of credit. With that said, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn by Councilor Broderick and Councilor Elliott. Thank you.
Well, technically.